Hey guys, Chris from Tillman Family Farms. I want to talk to you guys today about something that I kind of didn't understand, which is crazy. But when I first got pigs back in August, I was really excited about it, and the whole rotating them and figuring out, how to get them here and there, and I had a couple crazy ideas, and but I did some things that didn't really work out for me as far as rotating them from spot to spot. And I want to talk to you about that, and I want to explain to you how I messed up so that maybe you won't mess up when you get started with your operation. So guys, the first place that we had our pigs when we got them here was we put them in our garden. Okay, I had this crazy idea. Pardon me, I'm talking. I had this crazy idea that we were going to help fix the soil in our garden and all that stuff, which I'm sure that it did help. There's a lot of pig manure in there and all that stuff. We moved some chickens through there too, but I didn't think it through. I set up a piglet training pen in there, and it was great. It worked really well for training the pigs on the electric fence, and then all of a sudden we had to move them, and there really wasn't anywhere right there close by that was a great place for us to move them to. So what we did was we set up a pen across a roadway that we used coming to a gate, and when we did that, we had a hard time moving them from the garden to this area that we had fenced off, or that we had fenced for the electric. It had shade, it had everything they needed, but it was, and this is crazy, it was 25 feet away. All of my panels at the time were wrapped up in a training pen, so I didn't really have a way to just create a blocked off alley down through there for them. But so it was chaotic. We had pigs here and pigs there, and it just didn't work out very well. Second move, we took pigs and we ran them through a gate and into our pasture, into the pastures where I wanted them. The problem was that the next area from that paddock, there was no shade. I didn't have any pig structures built. There's just nothing. So shortly thereafter, we made a decision to get rid of all of our goats. Okay, we've got it might be a quarter acre worth of paddock that's fenced in with farm fence and barbed wire across top of it, and my wife and I thought that it would be a good place to start our rotation if we could get the pigs there. I did not bother trying to video this because I really felt like that we were going to look like a bunch of clowns, and we felt like a bunch of clowns. It didn't go quite as bad as what we thought, but it didn't go great. We used a perimeter fence, and we pulled their feed from them for a little bit, so they were pretty hungry. They followed us up the way, and it was about a 30-45 minute ordeal, but we did get them into that area. And now that they are into that area, I have an illustration drawn up that I'd like to show you guys of how we plan to rotate them. And I'm gonna tell you the reason that I think I'm crazy for not understanding rotation is because we have cows. We have horses, we've had goats. So, we've already got these areas set up for those animals with perimeter fences. And hey, guess what? You push them to this gate and you push them into the next spot. I don't know why that did not translate to me with pigs, but it was a mistake I made, and that's part of it. And I think that we have that figured out now, and I just wanted to put it out there. Somebody that's not into cows or is not into pigs already and is studying on this may help them, and I'm willing to show you how much of a dummy I was when I started with it. So I'm going to take you inside now, and I'm going to show you this illustration and kind of explain to you how we plan to rotate from spot to spot and then back to our fenced area, because the fenced area is where we'll be able to work pigs and actually load pigs out up here by a road to take them to the butcher and things like that. So it's a pretty good illustration, and I kind of took my time to figure this out. Now, these sizes are going to be, it all depends on how many pigs you're going to run. I don't plan on running a lot of pigs right off the bat. So we'll take a look at it and see how it goes. And I will probably have to expand on this pretty dramatically over the next year or so. All right, guys, so what you see right here is basically we have a small pasture on the side of our house, and it is probably the smallest pasture we have here, but we have a pretty good sized wooded area over there that's going to create a lot of shade for the pigs. But first of all, I want to talk about where I had the pigs. Okay, so down here, this gets close to where it butts up to our pond, and we had a paddock. There's some trees. We had a paddock right in this area right here. Okay, when it was time to move them, this perimeter fence helped us push them all the way up here to where the goat pen was. After we moved them there, so they've been there, oh gosh, maybe a month now, but this is a really big area for 3 pigs. We have a gilt that will be farrowing in February for the first time. So we set up the farrowing pen here. We did a video on that back a couple weeks ago. Now this is a gate and this is a gate. So one of the reasons I want to continue to use this area is for loading and unloading, because this right here is a gate that leads out of the property, or it leads across the front of our property to the driveway that actually gets out to the road. So that's going to be a big deal for us, because after we rotate pigs, we rotate them back here. Once they're rotated back here, we can actually load them in a stock trailer and take them to the butcher. So the pigs are right here now. Okay, so I want you to understand the numbers that I've got right here. So as rotation, you're going to go 1, you're going to leave this part of your fence up, and you're going to take all of this and flop it around the backside. So that's going to be 2. Then you do the same thing, 3, same thing, 4. And you're just going to keep doing that as it rotates around. And you have to break this down how it's going to be best for you and how many animals you have, how much space you need. You're going to have to really, really read the ground as far as how much they've torn it up and how much they haven't. I mean, you know, you can tell when an area is done and they need to move. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going to rotate them all the way around. And then once I get back, I'm going to be back to number 2, which you see I've got 14 written in there. And then back here, and then back to this pen so that I can load them out and go. All of this is pasture. This is open pasture. No shade, no nothing. I can do that area as long as I would put up some type of pig structures for them to get in and out of the sun and all that stuff. You know, pigs will sunburn. We've got some white paint horses that sunburn pretty easy out in the sun in the pasture. So I'm sure that the lighter colors on pigs would sunburn. I mean, they'll probably sunburn anyway, but you know, we try to keep them some kind of shade or something like that in this whole process. But this is what we're going to do this year. This may not be the best way to do it. I'm sure that there's other people out there that have been doing this for a long time that could probably give a better way. But for us, as far as rotation, from what we know and the mistakes that we've already made, this is what we're going to try to do. We're going to do this number and all this background here. And I think the biggest point that I'm trying to drive home for beginners here is that make sure where you start with your pigs that you can push them to the next spot, and then to the next spot, and then to the next spot, and to the next spot, with no obstructions. So when we started, we had a road to cross, and then we had fences to get around and all this other stuff. And then we had this big wide open pasture that wasn't where we needed them to be. So those were mistakes that we made that were not beneficial to what we were doing. And we want to try to help make sure that other people don't make those same mistakes. Guys, I hope that today's video was helpful to you. it gave me a little heartburn to learn these things the hard way, which I still kick myself in the rear end, because we know all about rotation and we know how to push them around and how to set up fencing for cows and all that stuff that would make things easy to move them from one spot to the other. But these were mistakes that I made. I want to pass them along to you so that maybe you won't make the same ones. There's no telling how many more mistakes that we will make as beginning pig farmers along the way. But it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Check us out next time. I'll probably put a link or two to some videos on here that we videoed, and some of these mistakes are in those videos. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and we'll be back with more videos.